That final scene.
Can you rewind it just a little bit?
I was quite concerned about the flimsiness of Gollum's loincloth.
Yeah.
Like, he's always like on his haunches, and there's like the bit of thread that connects
so
the
funny.
front to the back is like, has you on tenterhooks. Like,
No, rewind.
I'd have rather he was dead.
Oh my god, yeah.
Would have been a much more interesting. Would have been much more interesting if it turned out the boy had died. Like, honest to God.
Okay, play.
I said it before and I'll say it again.
That scene, that last scene.
What does it mean?
I'm the dude, you know?
Get the fuck out of here. No, I cannot.
That final scene.
Starts now.
Hello, we're back. And we're healthy.
Yes, you have recovered.
I have recovered at last. It was funny because I know we're gonna talk about what we've been watching the past couple of weeks, and I'm like, I don't have anything to say because the week before I was in Italy, Florence and Venice, which was lovely, but
Nice.
obviously I didn't watch anything there. And then when I came back, I tested positive for COVID.
No.
And weirdly, you would think, oh, what did you do all day? You just like watched movies and shows, but I've just been catching up with the Euros. Like I've just been.
Oh wow, you've been
I've
watching
just been
football.
watching the
Nice.
game. That's the only thing that's been, because you know what? I don't know about you, but like when it comes to with COVID anyway, because it was the very first time I tested positive, and I feel like I had a pretty hard time.
Yeah.
Like went through it all, and I was like, if I watch a movie, I think I'm gonna get too emotional, which means I'm gonna be in pain. And then if I watch, so anything that's too dramatic or like comedic is like I'm in literal pain. But then, as I've been reflecting on the Euros, they have brought me a lot of pain as well.
But
wait, tell us about Greece and the Euros.
well, Greece aren't even there, so I'm interested to know how that caused you pain.
No, I'm England. Like I'm Team England. Like I have to be Team.
I
Like
see.
I have to be Team England.
Interesting.
Greece is not good at football, so that's one out. But yeah, it's been very disappointed with how England has done so far. So I'm just rooting for them.
Who are we playing next?
Slovakia.
Slovakia tomorrow.
Are they good?
No.
We played with Slovenia and they were pretty good. And I'm like, they sound like the same country.
I hope we don't have any Slovakian listeners that are going to be massively offended by that
I think
one.
they're neighbors. So
Yeah, they're in the similar area.
Yeah, and I think they're pretty similarly. What's the word?
Similar skill levels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, we could easily be out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I know. But I'm rooting. I'm rooting for England. Come on, let's do this. So yeah, I don't have much to say. The two quick plugs is I've caught up with House of the Dragon.
I haven't watched season 2 yet.
Oh, you haven't? Okay,
No.
I have. Is
it good?
It's as good.
Nice.
So I'm very glad with
The problem is because I have also been watching the Euros, the football doesn't end until like 10 o'clock, so I just have no time to
there
then
you
watch
go.
anything else.
Exactly, it's been so hard.
Yeah.
And then I've watched the first episode of The Bear, season 3.
Okay. How was it?
I don't know if you have seen
I've
the
read-
chatter.
Yeah, I have. A lot of people are quite frustrated with season 3, aren't they?
I've only seen the first episode, but the first episode is a kind of episode that I think Simon would really enjoy.
Why?
It's very avant-garde.
Ooh.
It's like it has almost no dialogue, and it's just like a beautiful series of montages. Like it tries to tell a very specific story, but through zero dialogue and just like very 90s like montages and stuff.
Oh yeah, it sounds good.
No, I think you would love it.
It's kind of like gotten weird reviews and that like people are saying they like it, but it's quite different to what they've done so far, and that kind of, I don't know, that's disappointed people a little bit.
Yes, I think it depends on the kind of camp you're at as a show watcher. Like, do you just want more of the same because it's comforting, or do you want to see something different from the team? So I really liked it, but I wouldn't want like a whole season of it. But I think an episode is good. It's good.
Interesting.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching a lot of football as well. I have kind of had time. I've tried to make time to watch other stuff. So we're watching the second season of the Unchained on Netflix, which is the Tour de France documentary.
Okay, yeah.
Which, I mean, me and Ellie love it because I would say, like, did you watch Drive to Survive? Did you watch the F1 one?
No.
So, like, the first season of Drive to Survive was really good and it was really interesting. And I think it did something that, like, it kind of made you want to watch F1 because it kind of showed you all the storylines and stuff in it. And then Netflix went on a run of making, like, they made a tennis one. They made a few other, like, sports documentaries that weren't as good and that, like, didn't make me be like, oh, I'm going to go and watch that. Like, the tennis one, like, if I didn't already watch tennis, it wouldn't have made me be like, holy shit, I need to start watching tennis. this Tour de France one has made me be like, fucking hell, I need to watch cycling. Cycling sounds like the most interesting sport in the entire world.
Is it like the Lance Armstrong one where it's all about the drugs and the...
No.
culture?
This is literally
current.
it's the current. It's like a yearly one now. Following, so this is about last year's Tour de France.
Are they trying to
It's
rebuild
almost
the
like a
reputation
reality.
of
It's
it?
almost like a reality show, but
Yeah.
not like in a Kardashian way. But it feels like a
so like every episode is almost about like a different team, and there's like a different like what that team's kind of narrative is, and you get to know the riders and stuff like that, and the different kind of courses and stuff. It's so good. It's really, really good. The second season is as good as the first, I would say.
Good.
And I think that's a good marker for those kind of sports documentaries. Is if you're a person that doesn't watch that particular sport, does the documentary make you want to watch it? And this definitely makes me like,
Yeah.
we've started now, we're going to record like the highlights of the Tour de France this year because we're like, we actually want to watch it.
That's so cool.
And try and follow it.
I was gonna say like I've seen parts of the first season, and
Yeah.
what I do remember is that maybe that's true, but I got the impression that the sport is so violent
Yeah.
to the point that I didn't expect that. I was like, oh yeah, cycling.
Well, like violent on your own body or to each other?
Both. Like
A bit of both, yeah. Like the injuries they get,
Yeah.
like, you know, there's a lot of like shoving one another into barriers and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
exactly.
Like it's kind of crazy, yeah.
didn't expect that.
But yeah, it's really good. I've started rewatching Flight of the Conchords.
I'm due a rewatch of that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's so
Nice.
worth. Very much like I did a Boosh rewatch a little while ago. It is like I'm really, really enjoying it. It is quite funny looking at like, because I mean that would have been what 2006, 2007 maybe Flight of the
Yeah,
Conchords.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, firstly, seeing the two of them look so young is hilarious, but also just
Brit.
kind of Jermaine, and Rhys Darby as well, and just seeing that kind of era of like early kind of noughties television.
I really missed that type of comedy.
But you know what? I think I think there's interesting. It's interesting that it doesn't feel like you would get a TV show like The Boosh or Flight of the Conchords anymore, because like comedy's so hard to do. People are rarely willing to take risks on it.
Yeah.
Because also Flight of the Conchords is one of those things that I really like it, but I can understand why other people wouldn't. Like I can see how it might not be for someone, but I just think it's brilliant, and I think it's really difficult, like for big networks to take a risk on it. But that was HBO. I think that was HBO back in the day. Flight of the Conchords, and yeah, oh god, it's just so good. And then really randomly, I don't know why I got it into my head to watch this, but I watched Prometheus again.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, because it was on Disney
random.
Plus, and I thought I'd give it a watch because I was kind of just feeling like, oh, I want to watch some sci-fi.
That's the Fassbender one, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the first. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
he did another one. Fassbender's in the one
sec-
after that as well, which
Yeah,
is
sec-
Alien, whatever the one is after that. But I actually don't mind Prometheus.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
quite forgettable.
yeah, exactly. Like it is nowhere near as good as Alien's biggest problem as a series is that nothing is ever as good as Alien 1 and 2. But yeah, I don't actually think it's that bad, but as you say, it's quite forgettable. Like there's nothing in it that like the story is kind of flimsy. You never really cared about any of the characters in it that much. They're a little bit annoying, but it is kind of cool. It's cool Ridley Scott kind of science fiction. I don't know why that just popped into my head to watch it. So I just randomly watched it the other evening. I do need to go back and watch like Alien and Aliens, but I think I need to watch that during the day rather than at night. I mean, Prometheus was a little bit more palatable than watching those two movies because they would scare the shit out of me if I
Yeah.
tried to watch them at night. But,
No, I feel you.
yeah. Oh, I'm watching The Acolyte, which is the new Star Wars TV show as well,
Okay.
which is okay. I'm enjoying it. There's a
Right.
lot of people online complaining about it because like Star Wars fanboys, I think, don't like that it kind of strays a little bit from what Star Wars is. But actually, I think it's quite good. The guy from Squid Game. Did you watch Squid Game?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the lead from Squid Game is in it. And I think it's like his first role in English, maybe?
Oh, wait,
That's cool.
what's Squid Game again?
Squid Game's the Korean one.
Oh, I've not seen that.
No, you haven't seen it. The guy, yes, it's
Yeah,
the guy from
that's
Squid
cool.
Game's in
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And yeah, it's really, I'm really enjoying it, actually. I don't think it's that bad. I just feel like there's a lot.
Strays in what way?
I've kind of read stuff about it online that people say that like, oh, Star Wars fanboys don't really like it because it doesn't fall in line with how other Star Wars movies and TV shows are. And I'm kind of like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I it does annoy me quite a bit when like franchises try and do something different. And the main criticism is that like, oh, well, it's not like the originals. You're like, yeah, but it's not trying to be like the originals. And Star Wars and like Marvel's biggest problem, Disney's biggest problem at the minute is that for the last like 10 years, they've been making the same shit over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So they're trying to do some stuff that's a little bit different.
You're always going to have purists in every franchise, which is annoying. Yeah,
exactly. And I mean, maybe I'm a purist with Lord of the Rings. That's why I wasn't mad on the first season of Rings of Power, which just a little segue into what we're talking about later. But what about you, Zai?
Well, I have been helms deep into a film that you've got to guess.
Lovely, okay.
It's homoerotic, dripping in sweat, love
Top Gun?
triangle, sporty.
Matt's Point.
The one that you watched.
Matt's Point, yeah.
No, the one that you watched, Challengers.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's really
I still
fun.
haven't seen it.
Yeah.
What's your verdict on it?
I thought it was brilliant.
Give us a review.
I really enjoyed it. Zendaya's really good in it.
What would be your letterboxd review? Or letterbox?
Oh, yeah, steamy love triangle. Away.
But like love spelled in the tennis way, like L-U-V.
But it makes tennis so sexy. Like
Yeah. Tennis is, the metaphor for their relationships, which is a bit twee, but they kind of get away with it. Yeah, I recommend it. It's fun.
It's probably out of the cinema by now, is it? Or is it still
I'm sure you're going to see it in a streaming service.
Okay, where did you go to the cinema to watch it?
No, I bought it on Apple.
Okay, it's available.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, okay.
One other one. Have you guys seen One Day?
Michael has, and he loved it.
Is that the Netflix TV show?
Yeah, it's a TV show of the book written by David Nichols.
Is that the one about a guy and a girl, and it's like they come back on the same day like the same day in their relationship, but like a year on?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, Ellie watched that, and I wasn't watching it with her. She was watching it when she was ill, and she watched it.
She wept.
She was really
Dude, I was
unwell.
blubbing.
She watched the last episode, and I was
Yeah.
she'd been in bed watching it, and she came out to me, and she had just been in like floods of tears. I was
God,
like, "What the fuck happened in there?"
I know the plot twist, unfortunately, but I've heard
Yeah,
it's
so do
really
I.
good.
I just
right?
got Ellie to tell me what happened. I was like, "Just tell me. I'm not
Yeah.
going to watch it."
Yeah.
But I know a load of people were like, "I cried so much."
What did you think, Simon?
I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
Really?
Apparently the film's really turd of the book.
Is there a film as well?
Yeah.
With Anne Hathaway doing like a very bad northern accent.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't realize. Sorry, I thought the TV adaptation was the first one.
I'd say this is worth watching. It takes the acting and the sort of production of it improve as it gets going.
It's the girl
And then
from
it really ramps up.
It's the girl from that. This is gonna
Ambika
hurt.
Mod.
Yeah, from this is gonna hurt, isn't it? And the guy from White Lotus season 2.
Leo Woodall.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 breakout stars of the
So
year.
they meet at uni, the end of uni, and then it's just about them not quite getting together throughout their lives, and it's like how their lives intersect. Yeah, one day a year.
And then do we spoil it now that what happens at the end?
No, we should
No,
not.
you don't do that.
No, we should not do that.
I couldn't say
It
that.
feels-
No.
I think if you like that, you're gonna love Past Lives, which I think I've mentioned.
I
to you.
really
Yeah.
want to watch Past
Yeah.
Lives. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's on
yeah.
Netflix,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, Past Lives looks amazing.
Yeah, so good. Oh, and just like one last thing, because this came to me and I think it's very current. People have been talking about it. I gave Eric a go with Benedict Cumberbatch.
We watched that as well.
I gave up around episode 5.
We finished it. What
Yeah.
did you think? Well, like,
4?
obviously you gave up on it.
It's
Why
so
did you
You
many
say
say
anything
episodes.
about Ben, but he always finishes them.
Yeah,
I was like, just like
many a dirty joke I
maybe
could
one
make
day
there.
I will. It didn't give me much to work with. I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like he's so unlikable. His character, his wife. I don't like. I think she's an incredible actor. I love her as an actress. Like I've been following her work, but I'm just like, you're also annoying. The twist didn't feel like very satisfying. Well,
No.
twist, semi-twist, I guess.
It was.
Yeah.
It should have been like, yeah, it was shite.
Yeah,
It got it got progressively worse. I would say it
Yeah,
started
probably
off
that's it. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I just tonally it was so weird. Like it went from being like, have you seen Gone Baby Gone?
yeah.
Have you seen Gone Baby Gone? Sorry.
No.
It's a fantastic film. It's depressing as fuck, but it's really, really good. It's Morgan Freeman, Casey Affleck. It's about like a little girl who gets kidnapped. And it kind of starts off in that way of like the boy's gone missing. You don't really know, and there's some drama to
Sounds a
it.
bit like Man on Fire.
Yeah, ish. Without
Not as Hollywoody.
not as Hollywoody. Yeah, without the kind of like action set pieces of it. It's just a more like maybe Prisoners in a way.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Benedict Cumberbatch, who plays the dad, essentially has an imaginary friend that is a giant, like 7-foot walking puppet thing. And you're kind of having to suspend the disbelief of like, oh, actually, right, okay. And yeah, there's nothing likable about him. The dad is like, he's an asshole. He's a junkie. He's an alcoholic. the boy essentially runs away because his parents are just constantly getting drunk and fighting with one another, and you're like, yeah, fucking fair. I wouldn't want to live in that house either. The two of you seem like an absolute fucking nightmare. And then there's like
exactly.
There's a much more interesting side storyline about another kidnapping in it or another disappearance. And then it just gets to the end and they literally just like hand you the answer on a plate, and it's so incredibly unsatisfying. And there's like finding the missing boy, and then there's this other side storyline about like another boy that's gone disappeared, and it's about like drug trafficking and like pimps and stuff in a club in the 70s in New York, and it's quite interesting. And that is literally a side storyline that does not get anywhere near enough attention. It is basically like a throwaway comment to like make sure the episodes are padded out to an hour.
Sometimes.
And it just it just dies on its arse the longer it goes on.
Shame.
The end of it's so weird.
It's
so It's so stupid. I was like, do you know, I remember I was
What happens
thinking
at the end?
So basically,
spoiler for anyone
okay,
who wants to watch it.
If you're happy, if anybody who wants to watch it, even though I don't know why you would, if you stop listening here. But essentially, basically, at the end of it, there's this whole thing of like, will the boy just come home? Will he not come home? Turns out the boy's been living in the sewers with a bunch of homeless people. The reason he's gone there is because he saw a homeless dude whose graffiti he liked, so he followed him into the sewers. And then basically there's all this stupid bits at the end where like the homeless guy's like, I'm just going to fucking send you home. They've offered 25 grand of a reward. I'll send you home and I'll get the money, and everybody's happy. Benedict Cumberbatch is so obsessed with getting his imaginary friend, which is this doll that his son drew, made into a costume, and he gets it made and then goes on television, basically drunk, like trying to get a message to his son. And the boy's already left the sewers. He's in a diner eating pancakes and sees his dad on television. And then they go home, and it's supposed to be this whole happy thing. And you're just like, I'd have rather he was dead.
Oh my God, yeah.
Would have been a much more interesting would have been much more interesting if it turned out the boy had died. Like, honest to God, like there was no, like, it wanted a happy ending when it did nothing to deserve a happy ending at all, because everyone in it is just so annoying.
I thought the monster storyline was interesting. Well, monster, like the creature, but it went anywhere. It went nowhere.
As in the thing in his head?
Yeah. Like I thought it
was interesting, but I thought it had no place in that TV show.
No, 100%. Yeah,
a different TV show.
Yeah,
cool. An alcoholic puppeteer who is haunted and has visions of these creatures that he makes. Cool idea for a TV show. But then also throwing in the main storyline of his son's gone missing. You're like, oh
no, it went nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
It went nowhere. And Benedict Cumberbatch is very good in it, but kind of it feels like a really weird role for him.
Very much so.
Like it's kind of like, okay, I kind of get it, but I don't really.
Yeah. Also, what are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really weird TV show. Wow. Before we move on, have either of you watched the Nosferatu trailer?
No.
The Robert Eggers.
Is that a remake?
Yeah, so what's his name? Robert Eggers, is that his name?
Yeah,
the guy who made The Norseman.
Oh yeah, remember he was gonna make okay, yeah.
Yes, they've released the first trailer for it.
Is it with Willem Dafoe?
Yeah, so it's Willem Dafoe, Lily Rose Depp, Nicholas Hoult, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and then Alexander Skarsgård is playing Nosferatu.
That's gonna be great.
I think it just looks great. Loads of people were complaining because it was supposed to be Anya Taylor-Joy, and then she had to pull out because of scheduling conflicts, and it's Lily Rose Depp instead. But actually, I think it's going to be just as good.
Girl is booked. She's busy and she's booked. What can we do?
Yeah, so that's coming out. That's coming out at Christmas. I would recommend watching it. I think it looks really cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely terrifying.
Yeah,
there is. Oh yeah, okay.
What's this?
It's a movie.
No!
Oh, I liked it.
No!
Can I say something?
No!
I don't get it.
What don't you get about it?
Oh, I mean, how do we move from this to what we just saw? Because
what we've just done for the last 3 hours.
Yeah, because this is the second round for us. We spent the last 3 hours watching the Two Towers, not the Dark Towers.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Correct.
And I mean, first of all, I feel like we need to start with Simon and what was his. Well, a couple of questions. One, how do you compare to the first one? And two, now that you're just sitting with the ending, what's your lasting impression?
It was a bit more cheesy than the first one. Okay. When Gandhi reappeared, it was a bit of an eye roll for me, because I thought it was quite predictable. But I found it a bit hard to follow. I was really happy when he turned the subtitles back on, because I couldn't hear what the hell Gollum / Schmookum was saying. Schmeagol. That really helped actually having the subtitles on. I actually quite liked him as a character. He's quite cool.
Yeah,
I love him.
He's quite human in a way with his split personality. Not enough Peregrine Took names compared to the first one.
Yeah, there isn't as many novelty
So
names in the second one.
But yeah, I found it a little bit draggy.
I would say
compared to the first one.
Greamer Wormtongue is quite a good name.
That is good. My favourite characters were the trees. They're the Ent people.
The Ents, yeah.
Not people,
Treebeard.
people. Yeah, they were quite cool. But I just felt the whole thing was just... Maybe it's because the novelty of the first one had worn off a bit and it was a little bit draggy, like some really indulgent scenes where they were just... Like we were joking during watching it, where like the characters would almost leave the room and they'd be like, add another thing. And you'd be like, but the scene's finished and they're coming back for more chat. Like, just get on with it, get on with the next scene.
That's Carl Urban just wanted to stay on screen as long as he could.
Yeah, so I could have given it a good old prune.
I felt that too with this watch. I feel like it could be shorter. And it's hard to say. I don't know why, but obviously I really enjoyed it for many reasons. But yeah, I could feel like it could have been trimmed in certain places.
Yeah, there's some scenes that certainly linger.
Yeah.
Lots of the opening Frodo.
You have to let it linger.
Yeah, literally. I did think of the Cranberries during the film. Because someone says linger at one point and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah, even the opening, it's very long and all it's doing is retelling that whole scene that we saw kind of in the first one with a little bit additional context.
Yeah.
Kind of takes a while to get to the point.
They leave Tyler.
Yes,
so I think that's a bit repetitive. Yeah,
I didn't understand what that was for. Why did we need that? Why did we need to know that information?
I think we're just getting it, I guess, a little bit more backstory and
yes, a lot of kissing.
A little bit more development for what
oh yeah, the flashback kiss scene.
What the elves are going to do, yeah.
Because I thought when I was watching that scene initially that he was breaking up with her telepathically. I thought he was like, right, I fancy this new blonde lady now.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to bin off the other one.
Bin off the elf.
I'm going to
That's
do
so
it
funny.
using like a magic power. So I thought he'd gone into his dream world and was getting rid of her.
I thought the flashback had a weird, like it shouldn't have been after he was introduced to the blonde
that
lady. It
was
should have
weird.
been beforehand.
That's why I thought he was like, oh, no, I'm going to upgrade to this lady now. So let's just say goodbye to
Found
the
a new
existing
bae.
one. Yeah.
It really feels like an Aragon led film, that one.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
he
very
gets-
much the lead in that one, yeah.
Yeah, gets all the sides. Yeah.
I'll take it.
No, me
And also
me too.
hardly any Frodo ring. I mean, he's almost like a minor
In this one,
footnote. Yeah, I mean, obviously at the end he's quite important, but throughout he's pretty out of the way.
I guess
isn't
this one is more that. I guess you have to get. It'll be
I like
interesting to
that.
know in the context of the trilogy.
Yeah.
Is that I think this second one lays the ground more so for the war for Middle Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is about setting off on the quest. Frodo's gone to destroy the ring, and then the second one is about the collateral, that damage that is happening in the rest of the world around.
The scene that made me laugh was when it's towards the end, and he's on the top of some crumbling building, and the dragon's hovering above him. This horrible
The
dragon's going to
Nazgul.
potentially like kill him, and he's just sort of wafting his finger into the ring. He's sort of like teasing himself with it.
Yeah.
And then his mate, what's he
Sam.
called? Sam has to wrestle him away. And should he put his finger into the ring, God knows what would happen. I mean, presumably he just makes himself invisible and then doesn't get eaten by the dragon.
Well, he's still visible to the guy on the dragon. Is the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I don't understand like why he wasn't allowed to put his finger in the ring, but maybe you can tell me.
The euphemism. I guess the thing is that when the ring is worn, it's drawn attention to itself.
Oh, okay.
So Sauron knows where it is.
And also
It's the whole thing of keeping it hidden.
Oh, so Sauron can see the minute the finger goes into the
Yeah,
ring.
exactly.
Right.
And also he gets
Yeah,
worse
he
and
can.
worse. And I think we saw that in this film that he got progressively worse, like physically, mentally, spiritually, all the things. He just about
Yeah, this
collapsed.
is where Frodo kind of continues that from about halfway through that film, maybe even less than halfway, he kind of starts on this downward spiral that now is going to continue through another film as well.
Oh no.
I'm glad we didn't have lots of Hobbit action in this one. I think we needed the.
I think the problem is that you could you'd very easily just get stuck with like them, as I say, like with the extended edition, lots of them just wandering through the mountains and wandering through the
Yeah.
woods and stuff like
Having
that.
chats in
Yeah,
different
exactly.
locations.
Did you have more Gollum though, Smeagol, in the extended
I think
edition?
you do have a little bit, yeah.
Because
you
he's by
definitely have a bit
far
more.
the most exciting addition.
I
in
was
this.
quite concerned about the flimsiness of Gollum's loincloth.
Yeah.
He's always like on his on his like haunches, and there's like the sort of like the bit of thread that connects
so
the
funny.
front to the back is like has you on tenterhooks,
And also, like he's
God.
ping off.
he crawls very close to the ground. You know, he's quite an
I
old gent.
know.
Those things probably hang quite low.
I kept
You
thinking
know.
I was seeing them, like, but it was like maybe there is a shot where
I mean, that
happens.
guy, he probably is just dragging his nuts along
That
those
is
twigs
so
and
funny.
stones for majority
But
of the film.
that was keeping me tense through the film. Probably
Just waiting to
more
catch a
than, more
glimpse.
than the wrath of Sauron was Gollum's loincloth. Will it? Won't
Yeah.
it?
It's
Maybe
definitely
maybe in the third one it comes loose.
Well,
he does a tease. I mean, there's not much to get rid of, but you know.
well, it's not called Return of the King for no reason.
Yeah.
So what was the one we just called? What we just watched?
Two
called?
Towers.
Two Towers.
Okay, that
Two
wasn't
Towers.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ben, would you like to recap that last scene for? Well, it's very much like a Gollum setup.
Yeah, so the setup is for, I mean, all we know is that there's been obviously the turmoil and like there's I guess the cool thing about it is he had the two names is also the two sides of the personality. Gollum is the evil cretin
Baddie.
that wants to kill them, and Smeagol is the good side of him. And there's that really cool scene where like the two of them are asleep and he's going back and forth, and like the camera angle changes.
Brilliant.
It's really cool. And then essentially we get that at the end of the film again. You know, he's embracing the evil side of himself again that is going to lure Sam and Frodo to their death so he can claim the ring again. All we know is that he says that she will do the job for us. Who is she?
Ooh,
Another one.
Another one.
Oh my god.
In the words of DJ Khaled, another one. Yeah.
Another one.
Who will it be? Yeah. And then obviously we have Gandalf's lovely line of the battle for Helm's Deep is over, the battle for Middle Earth has just begun.
Yeah, there was a lot of stating the obvious, wasn't there? There was a lot of like
I felt-
just before
yeah.
a big action scene commenced, they would like do a face cut to one of the men, and they'd be like,
And recap what just
yeah,
happened.
yeah, and they'd just be like,
We are going to do this now.
yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell. You don't need to spell it out for me.
Show, don't tell. That's a good leader.
Well,
Yeah.
one of my favorite things about the ending of this one, well, semi-ending, I guess, is that, you know, Boromir got, like, I guess his legacy was sort of restored because
With
of his
Faramir.
brother. Yeah, because of his brother.
Yeah.
And I love what he told Frodo.
Yeah, I love Faramir as a character.
Yeah.
I think over the two films, this one and the next one, when we watch it, I really like Faramir as a character. I
Yeah,
think he's
love
really
that.
cool.
Yeah.
The bit I found satisfying at the end was when, you know, they'd won the local battle, and then there's that wide shot, and you can see Sauron having a mega tent in the background. And he's all this
he's
like
like- yeah.
red and fireworks and smoke and
Yeah.
stuff, and you can see he's really pissed off.
What, the eye?
Well, yeah, there's like the thunder and lightning and sort of
Oh, yeah.
flames and red and stuff.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah,
So
he's
visual.
absolutely. Pissed.
Here's a question that I wanted to ask you, because I felt this. I think I said this when we did the episode, but when I watched Doom Part 2, I felt the same way at Doom Part 2 as I do when I watched that ending, because I think
See,
it's
it's about to
great.
happen.
I love it. Amazing action, but I feel like this is there's like a dot dot. There's like ellipses there. There's like a dot 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 for the next thing to happen. You know. Very much feels like the end. Like, and again, I guess that's why I say like it's a setup really for, you know, the battle that is to come for the next film.
Is the next film pure battle, or is it?
The next film is is the end of it. Yeah,
Mayhem. It's pure mayhem. That's what it is.
but actually, I think as a set piece, of the three films, I think that Helm's Deep battle sequence, that like almost hour long of the siege, I think is
was
like
relentless.
is incredible.
There's a lot of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves references in that. I'd be really surprised if they hadn't taken some ideas from that film.
I can see that. Yeah. I think this one, maybe I'm wrong, but because you just brought up Dune Part 2.
Yeah.
This one feels more like a setup for the
Yeah,
third one.
exactly.
But in a good way. I didn't mind that. Because I feel like with Dune Part 2, you had the Austin Butler character that just, he's gone.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It almost felt like, Dune Part 2 felt like a standalone film to me. Like I guess, well, it had some parts from the first one, but it acted like it's almost finished and wrapped up. And obviously we have this thing with Florence Pugh's character, what's going to happen in the next one. But this one, and maybe this speaks more to the coherence of this franchise, how beautifully sets up the third one.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah. Like even Gollum, for example,
But wait,
he didn't die. He didn't die.
Why are you surprised though? The books are already written like that. It's not like
No. I mean, not from a lore perspective, but from a filmmaking perspective, like the
Where they chose to
right, yeah.
end it. I see.
So
yeah.
with this one, for example, you could have Gollum dead, just to
I would say
wrap
that-
up the body of the second
what,
one.
yeah.
That's what I meant.
What, and change the book?
Well, you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I would say the difference I think is between that and Dune. And it's interesting because obviously Dune will probably be a trilogy if they get green light for the third one.
Mm-hmm.
I think this, as you say, you know what's going to happen next. I think it's quite clear what's going to happen in that. If you know it's 3 films, it's quite clear what's going to happen next. Dune Part 2, I don't think it's quite clear on what's going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
A myriad of different things can happen. Whereas this is what we said in the last episode. I think what the franchise is really good at, and whether you think it's maybe spoon feeding it to you a little bit too much, the film is very clear and defined on lines of good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, the dialogue with the tree people towards the end made that completely clear.
Yeah.
Where we're in a race to either have the world taken over by evil or to save it.
yeah, exactly. Whereas Dune, I think, you know, it's cooler to have this in other movies. Is a little bit more grey and a little bit more political. Whereas one of the reasons I really love this trilogy is that it's really easy to just
Polarized.
sit down. You know what you're getting.
Yeah. And they've also teased, Frodo's fate. Like he's either gonna die, wink, wink, or he's gonna survive. Like to your point, like it's a zero-sum game.
I wouldn't be sad if he died, though.
Oh yeah, I mean,
He's such a minor character in it.
could
for
also
me.
be his destiny.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like there's.
I'd be sadder at the moment if Gollum died, because I feel like he's really struggling with his mental health. He's had this chain around his neck. All he's got is a loincloth. He's a bit like a sort of faithful dog that's trying to help.
Yeah, they really try and make him
Frodo.
seem like that, even in the scene where he's like calling him when he's in the pond and he's calling him to come to him.
Yeah.
They even get him he looks at him as if he's like, that thing when you call a dog and they
Yeah,
look at you as if to go, well, they look at you as if to go, I'm a little bit unsure if I should come with you.
Yeah.
But then again, you do give me treats.
Gollum's, I guess, going to get up to some naughty mischief and change my view of him in the third one.
Well, that's the thing, because now it feels like
He might be Sauron whispered.
Well, you can also see how Smeagol has been absorbed by Gollum now, almost for the
I
time
see,
being.
yeah.
For the time being,
Yeah.
And I think this is what
But it comes
can
back to his
happen with-
addiction personality,
yeah, for
isn't
sure.
it?
Yeah. And I think this is what happens with people that have a split personality. That sometimes if they feel and they feel like one, and sometimes it's more obvious, like the what's the dichotomy of the.
I think we
person.
all do. We're all on that. It's all a spectrum, isn't it? And most of us are able to sort of steer ourselves down one path and keep control of it in the main. Whereas poor old Gollum, he's like, he's got his addictions that
Smeagol.
he can't quite. Yeah, or Smeagol, sorry, can't quite keep Gollum under wraps.
Yeah.
And he keeps springing out.
Yeah.
Shame. Yeah, to be fair, that made me more excited about the Gollum films. Like, yeah, I'm gonna see.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
I don't know how much of his voice I could take though, because
It is
Could
quite
be-
grating, yeah.
I mean, imagine recording that. It must really wreck his throat to do
I
those
wonder whether
sounds.
they can.
I actually-
maybe it can be AI these days.
Maybe. I find the Gollum voice less grating than the Smeagol voice. The high-pitched,
right.
like, squeaky
yeah,
Smeagol
you're
voice I
right.
find quite annoying, whereas
Yeah.
Gollum's voice I don't mind.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're great. They're brilliant voices, but
Yeah.
yeah, quite grating.
It's a good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good question. You don't want an entire film with this
It must
voice.
be. It must be an issue to consider. Like, how
Yeah.
how watchable is this film with that voice?
Yeah.
throughout?
Subtitles on.
Yeah. I do think it is interesting, that thing that I was saying as well, of like, and something I hadn't thought about, the Frodo-Smeagol relationship of, him seeing it as, but you're kind of, you do keep, every time I watch these movies, I'm like, why didn't he just fucking let him go or kill him?
Yeah.
Just get rid of him. But actually Frodo's going, or probably going, well, if I can save him, essentially that means someone can save me.
Yeah, I also think it's a matter of control, because right now everything is so out of his control, where
Yeah.
it's this one creature that really feels like I can control this one thing, and he latches on to him, I guess.
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah, like
Tigress.
Frodo is thinking that'll be me in a loincloth in a few years' time. So
Yeah. So I need
better
to
be
keep
careful what I wish for.
Yeah,
True.
he looks like he's about my size, so if I just wait until I need one, then bin him off, I can take his.
To be honest, I don't know if it was intentional, but in this one they had a couple of almost like fisheye shots.
Yes, I noticed that.
and I wonder whether it was intense to make him look a bit more like Gollum.
He looked those shots when he was looking sort of down into the
Yeah.
camera. They looked like animations.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
didn't look real life, did they?
Yeah, which made me think of Gollum. Like, oh, maybe they're giving him a bit of a teaser.
They're amazing shots, though.
Yeah,
It's
really good.
amazing.
I might have missed it because I was on the phone. Is the marsh scene in this one where they're crossing the marshland and he falls in the water?
Well, he gets cross because he thinks that Gollum / Schmeagol's leading him down the into a bad zone.
We talked in the last one about like how violent and how terrifying the first one was.
Yeah.
The bit where he falls in the water
my
and sees all the
God.
dead soldiers
Yeah.
scared the living daylights out of me.
Yeah.
And still
Yeah.
to this day kind of creeps
I
me
mean,
out.
you
like-
know it's going to happen. They're all with their eyes closed, and you're just waiting for one of
yeah,
the
you're
eyes
just
to
waiting
open.
for it, and then they open, and then he gets pulled in. They're all dead.
But it's Schmeagol that pulls him out, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's the moment where he must be like, okay, this thing's going to help me.
He has redeeming
moment.
qualities and will help me somewhat.
Yeah.
So if I had to ask you, Simon, now I'd be interested. Maybe we can jot some of these down. What are your predictions as we go into the final film?
Well, I think,
who's going to be where? Who's going to get the girl? You know.
But you were saying that Frodo's in a gay relationship with Sam. So
No, I wasn't
nobody's getting
saying that.
any
No, I
girls.
wasn't saying that. I'm just saying there is slight homoerotic
SpongeBob
tendencies to their
Patrick.
relationship.
There's lots of longing looks.
A platonic friendship.
I don't know. I think that surely everyone just progresses towards that red fire that is what's
The
it
eye,
called?
Sauron.
Sauron's palace or whatever is there. I don't know. And he's got to get the ring in the red.
Is he?
He's got to chuck the ring into the lava.
Get the ring in the red is.
That's what
Is
he's
he
got to
gonna
do.
come out unscathed or?
I just keep thinking of the end of Terminator.
Nice.
When to kill Terminator, he has to go into basically the red lava of the smelting thing, and he does the cheesy thumbs up as he goes down, which I absolutely loved at the time.
You want
Amazing.
Frodo to do a thumbs up,
And
in
I'm
the
just
lava.
imagining that, really. But I mean, obviously, Frodo's just going to get
He
burned.
could do the finger.
immediately. he could finally put his finger in the ring without getting told off by
Yeah.
Sam.
But he just gives
He's
him the
like, "I'm doing it."
It's the middle finger as he goes down as
Putting
well.
my finger in the ring.
Middle finger, Middle Earth. same
Also,
thing, yeah.
there's something I'm a bit I'm a bit unclear on, and I think is a bit suspicious, is that it's called Lord of the Rings plural, and we're only seeing this one bloody ring. So how many other films are going to be about the other rings? Like, where are the other rings? What?
Well, that's what
the
the
deal with
TV
that?
show's about.
Okay,
If my memory serves me correctly, 9 rings went to the realm of
9.
men.
right.
Is it 7 to the elves and 5 to the dwarves, or one way or the other?
Okay.
And then this was all a ploy by Sauron, and that they have all these rings of power, but he has the one that has control over everything.
Yeah, Galadriel explains that the very
Yeah.
first in the opening of the first one. But yeah,
The big voiceover.
big voiceover.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I guess they've got to defeat Sauron or not, and get his ring. Then
Yeah.
don't know how they're going to do it.
Is Gandalf going
I mean,
to?
it was very improbable how they even managed to defend this castle thing this time. It looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they did it. So, I mean, there must be a way that some trees can help them fix Sauron's palace up
Yeah.
with a big attack. And
Well, after watching the first one, I sent you both the picture. I went out to the shops and bought the extended editions. I didn't bring them today.
Love it.
But I think for the last one, we should do it because there's some key
9
scenes
hours
that I
of solid.
remember, like especially towards the start. There's 1 or 2 bits that I'm like, oh yeah, that's more interesting. That gives you a little bit more,
Juicy.
okay.
a little bit more
do it.
context. I mean, you didn't even get the context in this film because I forgot that it's in the deleted scenes that Aragorn's 87 years old.
What?
Yeah, that's one of the deleted scenes. He explains that he's from a lineage of people that have kind of longer life than your average human, and he's 87.
But you read the books, haven't you?
Yeah.
So wouldn't that be in the books anyway?
Yeah, it's in the books. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but it's not in the film.
Okay.
But it's in the extended edition of the film.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, and also clearly with the Gandhi situation, anyone can come back from the dead. So in the next one, we could get Sean Bean back.
I think only Gandhi can come back from the dead, really, because he's a
Yeah.
wizard.
Anyone that you don't actually see have the head come off, they can come back.
Exactly. And you see a lot of heads getting cut off. Again,
Yeah.
a highly violent film. I mean,
Yeah.
and quite terrifying.
It is. It was. But I think because I was more used to it because of the first one, it wasn't so.
Yeah,
shocking.
you were in that. You kind of
I'm
knew what
already
you were.
like blasé about
Or also watching
headings
it
now.
daytime. Like, I think
Yeah.
it would be
Yeah.
a very different experience if it was like lights off,
That's true,
cinema, you know.
There was the smell of curry wafting through the
smell of
window, which
curry.
actually
Yeah, that
was
was-
soothing me
That
throughout.
was really nice.
Ground
If I got
you.
too worried about it, I could just key
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
the smell of curry and then
Get a whiff of the curry, which makes me want to go home now and get a curry.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well,
But I enjoyed it. Like I
yeah.
thought it was good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I could have made it. I could have done my own personal edit and made it 45 minutes less.
Yeah.
Really?
And I would have enjoyed it
45,
10% more, I think.
20.
I don't know. I don't think I could take
Maybe
45
30
minutes
minutes,
off
30
it.
minutes.
I think I could shave off about 15.
Yeah, something like that. I
'Cause I
I
actually-
would shave some Liv Tyler stuff and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and maybe some of the fight in the end.
That flashback could come out. Yes, the fight just really dragged on.
I think it's because it was very dark. It's the same thing with some Game of Thrones scenes that were like dragging.
Oh,
not
we didn't
because-
talk about that. You finally must have watched the Game of Thrones episode where everything is so dark it looks like you're
And there
telling
was a
a
lot of,
There you go. Yeah.
you know, when the doors are being breached, and there's a lot of waffle from the king while that's going on. They're like congratulating each other and
Yeah.
trying to, get things going inside, and that just went on for ages.
Yeah.
I think it would have been more exciting if they'd run that sequence faster and had it breached, and then they're like shit, and they have to get themselves out of it. But
Yeah, I agree.
there was a lot of like pre-chat, mid-chat, post-chat. Clanking swords and they were like almost congratulating each other for failing. It was weird. Like the whole thing, the thing was getting breached, and then they were all like cheersing each other.
Théoden is quite a shit king as well because
Yeah, he is a bit.
he goes down to help. He's like, get your swords. And then within 30 seconds, he's been stabbed with a spear and he's having to go because he's like, oh.
I saw
I'm
that
hurt.
he had to be brought back, didn't he? But then the bit where they ride out down the what do you call that sort of
Like the slipway.
slipway thing? I mean, it was ridiculous that not one of the horses got kind of stabbed or knocked off or something. They seemed to
Yeah.
just be able to part this sea of
Bullet- yeah,
marauding
yeah.
butchers.
Short proof. Yeah.
So that could have been a bit more perilous, I thought, in the way that it was presented. But yeah,
Get
this
that.
looks quite magical, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna love the third one.
Cool.
Yeah. And you're going to love the extended edition of it as well. The
I
director's
have not
cut.
watched that one, but I'm looking.
Have you not
for-
watched it?
No, I haven't watched the
Oh,
extended.
wow. Okay. So there's stuff in it that you won't have seen. Then.
Oh, I'm
okay,
excited
interesting.
for it. Yeah,
Okay, interesting. Very cool.
amazing.
Yeah, can't wait.
Looking forward to it.
Well, when's gonna be the next recording? And I mean, I guess
Yeah,
because
probably a few weeks.
someone's getting married.
Yes, I'm going off to get married in 2 weeks. So I will be disappearing for a little while, but we'll come back maybe towards the end of July.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Yeah. I would have
Amazing.
said do a double bill today, but I mean,
Oh, good lord.
Simon's got to go. Simon's got to go hop on the platters that matter. So
Yeah. I think
The
I
Wheels
wouldn't
of
have.
Steel.
I wouldn't have enjoyed it doing
Have
two.
you ever done a Lord of the Rings marathon?
yeah, I did it a long time ago. All
All
three,
three?
yeah,
That's great.
in a day, yeah.
Will there be
I
any-
did 3 extended editions in a day, I think.
Amazing.
God.
Amazing.
Yeah, back when I bought the box set when I had just started working and
Yeah,
had
so
money.
breakfast to
had
dinner.
had more money and and a lot of time than I should have had.
Was that your first big luxury that you splashed on when you got money?
Oh yeah, it probably was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to buy a lot of DVDs, and the Lord of the Rings collection would have been a big one.
Does Lord of the Rings Extended even fit on a VHS cassette?
So here's the thing, right? So obviously the ones that I bought now are the Blu-rays, and the
Yeah.
Blu-rays I think do fit onto one disc. But I think if memory serves me correctly, on the DVDs they were all at least 2 disc. So it would get to a point where the DVD would stop, and it would be like
Yeah.
take out disc 1, put in disc 2,
I've
and it
got
would resume.
Downfalls, my one film that I've got that has 2 DVDs.
Yeah,
It's so
and
long.
then I think most of them also have I think the final one might have had 4 discs because there was
Wow.
like all the like directors commentary and all that kind of jazz and like special edition stuff.
The big question is,
They were
will
in lovely boxes as well. Oh, the first it was green, red, and blue. Oh, lovely.
there be any Lord of the Rings references in your wedding speech?
I can try and shoehorn some in if you like.
We should see how many we can get Ben to insert without getting in trouble.
Yeah, I'll wear a loincloth to make the speech.
Some Mordor puns.
Yeah, Ellie's not seeing Lord of the Rings, so she wouldn't get it, so it might just fly under
Oh,
the
you
radar.
have to make her watch it.
Yeah, she did say that to me. She wants to watch it, so
that's
we will watch, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe on the honeymoon.
Well,
Oh God! Sorry, Ellie. That sounds terrible. On the honeymoon.
No,
That's
no,
disgusting.
I'd never do that.
well, if she can watch the first 2, she's inviting the last one if she wants to join
Yes,
us.
yeah, if we can do it in time, we'll
Yeah,
we'll bring her along.
Amazing.
Cool.
Okay, can't wait.
Yeah, bring on Return of the
Bring
King.
on Return of the King.
Did you like it? Did you like that?
Did I like it? I loved it.
I had no idea you could milk a cat.
I have nipples, Greg.
Could you milk me?
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.